Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. So I took a look at the footage the past couple of episodes. I think it's episode 19 to 21. The episode turned okay, and thankfully, like, the footage was safe. I was actually using a different recording software since I was, I was using XSplit when I'm streaming on Twitch, and I thought that I could just use one software, right, for everything. But turns out, XSplit is not very good when it comes to recording, as weird as that sounds. Because there was some hiccup here and there when I was editing the video. Like, some audio skips, and even some frame skips on the game itself. Very weird considering it's only a visual novel, so it's not really using a lot of power, right, technically. So yeah, I went back to OBS again, and hopefully everything should be fine. Only for recording though. I think for streaming purposes, I am still going to be using XSplit. Since I actually purchased XSplit, it's actually a really good software. OBS always has trouble issues for me whenever I try to stream for some reason. But alright, enough about that. Let us come back to Grisaia. Last episode, we finished off Machina, and my goodness, thankfully, I did not try to finish Machina in that one episode when I was, before I stopped, I stopped recording any videos, because my god, that was actually still 5 hours and 30 minutes of Machina's route. If I tried to brute force that, I would have been recording for 7 hours straight. But now we reject the money to get to another girl's route. Sorry, Machina. Machina, listen carefully. I don't want your money. That's not what I'm saying. If you want to play house, I'll do it free of charge. I'm not the perfect human being you seem to think I am. I can't commit to becoming your father. It would be irresponsible of me to pretend I could. But if it's just playing at the role, I think even someone like me can handle it. Well, a pseudo-papa, I guess. Since you never learn what a family is, we'll try to figure it out together. Would that be enough? Alright, then let's leave it at that. That said, I'd really prefer not to be called Papa this early in my life, and I think you meant fledgling. That's the feathers on an arrow. I take hold of Machina's outstretched hand and give it a quick shake. Most likely because of that half-eaten lollipop she's been carrying around. Her palm is sticky and unpleasant to the touch. You've got plenty to learn, that's for sure. When you raise something, sometimes you're the one that grows the most. And when you teach someone, you're going to learn a lot in return. Or so my master told me once. I mean, that's actually true. That's why teachers still teach up until, like super old age. Then again, it could also be because they they don't have any other job to turn to. But hey. At the time, those words didn't really resonate with me. But now, I think I'm starting to understand. Even so, when I think about the rocky road that lies ahead, I can feel the dull throb of an incipient headache stirring under my temples. How many days did we jump, by the way? I actually don't know how many days we jumped there. Okay, they don't tell me the date, sadly. Do they tell me on the load screen? No, they actually don't tell you what date it is, except for my own date. Okay, that's fine. I'm accustomed to being used by others. That's not something that you should be accustomed to, Yuji. After all, at my part-time job, it's not considered acceptable to second-guess your orders, let alone defy them. I mean, if it's a job, that's a different matter though. Once you're given instructions, you're expected to carry them out to the letter, without question, without hesitation, and without doubt. In other words, there's no right to disobey. Then again, simply do what you're told and you'll always be provided with the necessities of life. There's no need to agonize over your decisions when you're not the one making them. In that sense, it's a very easy life. It depends.
ごめんね、ユージ。面倒な仕事頼んじゃって。
Don't worry about it. I'm currently carrying a metal overhead projector down the hallway. In our increasingly computerized age, this sort of bulky machine is already well down the road to complete obsolescence? Obsolescence? I know it's a derivative from obsolete, but how do you say that? Obsolescence? But a fraction of the teaching staff, specifically those older than 50, don't seem to have, what is it? Gotten the memo. As a general rule, these older instructors prefer to use handwritten transparencies as visual aids for their lessons. Personally, I don't really like to complain about the elderly not moving with the times, but every classroom in the school has a retractable LCD projector mounted in the ceiling. My school was like that too, actually, when I was in middle school. So being forced to lug this heavy thing around for every lesson is definitely enough to inspire a few exasperated sighs. Okay.
なんかさ、今まではこういう仕事って全部私に回ってきたから、ユージが来てくれたおかげで助かるよ。
Wait, I'm just like making what is it? I just realized that they only have the retractable LCD projector, you know, like screen. They don't have the projector mounted on the ceiling. Is that what's going on? That's why he's lugging the projector? That's so weird. My school actually has both. This is very awkward. You're seriously exaggerating. This is nothing. Saving people is something else entirely. Something much, much more difficult. In the first place, Amane isn't my superior or anything. I have the right to turn her requests down flat. Since I'm not exercising that right, I'm acting out of my own free will. There's nothing to thank me for. Anyway, I'm just trying to show off in front of a woman. Pure self-interest.
へえ、でもさ、嫌いな子の前でいいとこ見せる必要なんてないもんね。それってつまり、ユージは私のことを好きなんだ。
Not necessarily, Amane. As a general rule, I dislike women who ask me annoying questions. You don't have to follow me around, by the way. I know where the equipment room is.
またそうやってすぐ意地悪なこと言う。女の子にそういう態度取るのがかっこいいとか思ってるなら、それ勘違いだからね。
That a fact? Let me rephrase that then. Leave this to me, Amane. You go on ahead. I'll catch up later.
それって死亡フラグじゃん。
Amane, once this job's done, let's get married.
いや、だからそれ死亡フラグだってば。つうか冗談だって分かっててもドキッとするから、あんまそういうこと言わないでよ。私結構本気にしちゃうタイプだし。
Okay, after hearing Amane like talk a lot right now, I'm starting to remember that Amane also the voice actor for Amane also voiced you know, Natsumi from Shari no Kuni, so I'm kinda having a soft spot for Amane, even though I don't really like Amane as a character all that much. Duly noted.
まあいいわ。どこにでもついてくる鬱陶しい女だって思われるのもあれだし、後のことは任せてもいいのね。
Yeah, not a problem.
じゃあさ、私先に帰って晩ご飯の用意するね。何が食べたい？
What?
だから今日の晩ご飯私が作ってあげる。何がいい？
You really don't need to do that.
別にお礼じゃないわよ。私が勝手に作りたいって言ってるだけ。
Look,
そうでも言わなきゃあんたちっとも食べに来ないじゃない。あんたの分も用意しておくからちゃんと食べに来るのよ。いい？
hey, hold on. Unilaterally announcing a schedule as if the matter has already been decided, then disappearing before I have the time to object. It's a favorite trick of the crafty older woman. By repeating this process numerous times, they deeply imprint the idea I can't oppose this woman onto my subconscious, ultimately depriving me of the ability to voice any resistance to their plans. Why exactly do these sort of sly women flock around me like moths to a flame? At this point, I'm half convinced it's some kind of a curse. Pushy girl. Watching Amane bound jauntily off down the hallway, I heave a light sigh. In the next moment, the cell phone in my breast pocket begins to buzz with a harsh electronic sound. As the ringing phone vibrates against me, I feel the warmth drain from my chest. It's my black cell phone, the one I was given for work. I pulled the phone out of my pocket and glanced at the LCD screen. The caller's name is displayed Julia, first and foremost among the sly women in my life. After a short, deep breath, I press the answer button and hold the phone to my ear. The first thing I hear is electronic noise, as the call is converted from a general analog line to an encrypted digital connection. That and the commanding voice of a woman, a voice that brooks no opposition. In answer to her clipped, succinct words, my god, what is that word? I offer a similarly terse and businesslike response. What's the situation?
Type B, 準待機。あなた、まだ学校にいるわね。17分後に迎えに行く。用意して。
Affirmative. She cuts off the call without warning before the word is completely out of my mouth. Par for the course. 17 minutes. Returning the phone in my hand to my breast pocket, I glance at the cheap digital wristwatch on my left wrist, which currently reads 4:50 p.m. Looking up, I hurriedly scan my surroundings. When I look back over my shoulder, I find Sakaki performing her usual languid intellectual girl act. One elbow resting on a windowsill as she sighs apathetically for no apparent reason. I call out to her without hesitation. Sakaki.
何?
Sakaki turns to look at me with a displeased frown on her face, roughly translatable as I'm not deaf, and approaches me with obvious reluctance. Sorry, but could you take care of this?
Huh?
Something urgent just came up. You know where the equipment room is, right? I need you to take this back for me, please.
ちょっと、どうして私が?
I owe you one. Not waiting for Sakaki's response, I turn my back on her and break into a run. She doesn't raise her voice to berate me, let alone chase after me. Exactly as I calculated beforehand. I'm pretty sure Sakaki loathes domineering men from the bottom of her heart, but that hatred is so intense precisely because she can't offer much resistance to them. It takes me 1 minute and 40 seconds to reach my room. Since I ran all out, I've worked up a good sweat in that time. But thanks to the daily running regimen I've kept up since coming here, my breathing is still pretty regular. I quickly peel myself out of my sweat-soaked school uniform and toss it carelessly aside. Opening the sack sitting in the corner of my room, I take out my change of clothes. Specifically, a green work uniform with the name of a cleaning company embroidered on the shirt. But it was embroidered. All this time, what I thought was embroidered was a lie. A cap of the same color, and a package of disposable adult diapers. First order of business, I take a diaper out of the plastic packaging and wrap it around myself. In my line of work generally, and especially in my specific job, it's often impossible to take a bathroom break once you've taken your position. Fact of the matter is, I once spent several hours of a lengthy job stewing in my own piss. Oh, I can't even imagine that nowadays. I mean, maybe when I get older, you'd have to use those adult diapers too. But hopefully, when I get old, I don't have to use those things. You know, I probably hope I die before I can't even take care of myself. The discomfort I endured on that occasion is beyond my ability to express in words. As a direct result, I picked up the habit of wearing a disposable diaper to any job, no matter how minor. As soon as I finish with the diaper, I slip on my light green work shirt, step into the trousers, tighten my belt, and put on my hat, completing my change into the frog uniform, reviled by all who wear it. Finally, I pull on a pair of deerskin gloves as a measure against possible injury to my fingertips, completing my preparations. Taking my phones out of the school uniform, I push them into my breast pocket and head for the door. As I reach for the doorknob, I take a final look back into the interior of my room. The school uniform scattered messily on the floor kind of stands out, but there's no reason to worry about it now. In this school, there aren't any superiors to chew me out about it while brandishing the punishment stick. Might as well just clean it up when and if I come back. There's always the possibility I'll never get that chance. But in that case, nobody's going to be able to nag me about anything ever again. I burst out of the dorm and rush toward the school gate. My body feels light. Even as I burrowed my way into a lax student life, casually gathering small fragments of happiness with every passing day. Even when I was startled to find my cheeks loosening into a spontaneous smile, even at the best of times, that underlying feeling of frustration never disappeared. That vague, heavy anxiety was always with me. And yet, with a single curt phone call, that weight has been lifted from my shoulders. My body moves freely, effortlessly. When you get down to it, this is how I was made. This is how I'm supposed to operate. This is what I am. As I try to convince myself of that, my body grows lighter still. But in exchange, I can feel the gaping, empty hole in my chest growing wider. An unexpected voice brings me to a reflexive halt. When I turn, sure enough, Amane is standing a few meters away. Yeah, got called in to work all of a sudden. Well, I might not be able to make it back. I don't know if I'm going to be back at a reasonable hour. Alright. Damn, that sounds delicious. I love pineapple. It's not it. Thank you, Amane. Okay, I'm heading out. Look, woman, don't just casually butt your way into a conversation between young people. Why are you here? I don't remember anything about that ride being you. Okay, can you stop talking in that sugary tone of voice? You sound like a transvestite magician. It's raising my blood pressure. Right. As I may have mentioned before, this blonde clown is JB. Feel free to ignore her stupid jokes. Stop talking. Let's just go. Are you serious?
ユージの保護者の春寺ゆりあです。いつもうちのユージがお世話になっているみたいで。周防あまねさん。
こんにちは。あれ、でもどうして私の名前を？
それはもちろん。いつもお話はユージから聞いてるしね。はい、これ私のお名刺。
どうも。有限会社アサヒクリーン広報二課分室室長春寺ゆりやさん。
そう、気安く JB って呼んでいいのよ。
はあ。
That's more than enough, isn't it? Let's go, JB.
だから髪を引っ張らないでって。
Later, Amane.
いってらっしゃい。なんなの今の人。
I have no idea myself, Amane.
怒った？
Why would I be?
なんか私のことあの子たちに合わせたくないみたいじゃない。
That's right. I don't. You stink of gunpowder, JB.
そうかな。私匂う？
It was a figure of speech.
まあね。そりゃ急に来たのは悪かったわ。それは謝るけど、あんまり過敏になってもかえって怪しまれるわよ。気をつけなさい。
I
乗
know.
って。
This car never gets any less obnoxiously flashy, and the interior stinks of perfume.
早く臭いよりはマシでしょ。文句言わないの。
As she speaks, JB leans over toward me in order to put on her seatbelt, her body exuding the same sweet smell of perfume that pervades the car. It's the raw scent of an adult woman. As a general rule, women sprinkle more perfume on themselves with every year they age. Some of them end up as walking air fresheners, but JB's fragrance isn't too unpleasant. Somewhat reminiscent of a mother's scent, if anything. Better than the smell of gunpowder, to be sure. And what's our destination?
まずは横浜の営業所。そこで装備一式の受け渡しと今回一緒に仕事をするメンバーと顔合わせを済ませて、その後は会社のワゴン車で移動。
Will I be working with a partner?
いいえ、今回もあなたは一人よ。他のメンバーとは別行動になるわ。
Then there's hardly any point in meeting them, is there?
会いたくないのならそれでも構わないけど、どうする？メンバーの中には女の子が2人いるよ。
What does the team matter? I'll be with them for what? Part of the van ride? And their gender is even less relevant.
なんかイラついてるのね。最近ちゃんと眠れてる？
Can't. I'm still a shallow sleeper, and my dreams are always about the past.
少し眠っておいたら、会社に着いたら起こしてあげるから。
I'm guessing the game actually does, somewhat thinks that you did the route in the order of the choices that comes out. So if you played Machina's route, we know that Yuji can't kill people, right? So these jobs specifically, they're probably sniper jobs, but doesn't necessarily mean he's supposed to kill the person. So maybe just a fake assassination or something along those lines. Sounds like a plan. I open the glove compartment and retrieve a bottle of eye drops and a sleep mask. According to the watch on my wrist, it's now 5:26 p.m. About time I got started on stretching my ocular muscles in preparation for my job. Pressing the back of my head firmly against my headrest, I apply a single drop of fluid to both my eyes, then gently close them. Eyes still shut, I move my eyeballs in a regular figure 8 pattern, sometimes squeezing my eyelids firmly down against them. Opening my eyes, I swing my focus up and down to the absolute limit, as if attempting to look at my own forehead and chin. Next, I move my eyes left to right, trying to catch a glimpse of my own ears. I repeat the same exercises a total of 5 times, with 1-minute breaks in between each repetition. When I'm finished, I gently close my eyes, slip on the sleep mask, and consciously slow my breathing. And inside the car, enveloped in JB's sweet fragrance, I quietly fall into sleep.
みちるなのですから、ミッチーなどいかがでしょう。
What?
もうそれならいっそミッツィとかどうなのよさ。なんかこう口んとこがバッテンな感じでキュートなのよ。
あのね、さっきから黙って聞いてれば何好き勝手なこと言ってるわけ？暇つぶしで人の名前をいじらないでくれる？
だってチルチルって呼ぶなーって言ったのあんただよ。
だからって変なあだ名を新しくつけろって言った覚えはないわよ。つうかあんたって言うな。
めんどくせえ女だな。じゃあなんて呼べばいいのよさ。
Punk is not really anta, by the way. It's like a very informal way of calling you. I don't know why they like translate it into punk.
私にはちゃんと松島みちるって名前があんでしょが。変なあだ名とかいらないから。
じゃあみちる
呼び捨てにすんな。私の方が年上だっての。
みちるちゃん
ちゃん付けすんな。子供扱いじゃないのよ。
みちるさん。
あんたが言うとインギン無礼。なんかムカつく。ではみちる様ということで。それは
いやいや待て待て。何も名前をもじるだけがあだ名じゃないのよ。
True enough, you can use something else to define someone.
例えばジージャンデカはいつもジージャンを着ているからそうあだ名されるのであって、何かこう身体的な特徴、主にビジュアルからイメージするようなあだ名を。
だから無理にあだ名をつける必要がどこにあるの？人の話聞いてお願いだから。
よし、今日からお前はパツキンデカだ。よろしくな。
見たまんまだし、つかデカじゃないし。でもその場合、髪が伸びて地毛の色が出始める頃には通用しなくなってしまうような。あ、プリンデカというのはいかがですか？もしくはもっと安っぽさを強調してプッチンデカとか。もうだからデカじゃないって言ってんでしょが。つうかプリン言うな。
だんだんうざくなってきたのよさ。
そりゃあたしのセリフだ。
もう鬱陶しいのよさ。じゃあチルチルはイカフライに何をかけて食べる？
醤油かな。
じゃあもうイカ醤油でいいよね。今日からチルチルはイカ醤油ってことでよろしく。
もう急に面倒くさくなって適当なあだ名つけるな。
Man, this feels so out of place after like finishing Machina's route, and you know, like a lot of the things that happened was so serious, right? And then suddenly this is going on again, like the slice of life stuff. I feel like I'm not ready for this slice of life again.
まあまあ落ち着いてください、イカ醤油様。落ち着けるか。それととりあえず呼んでみるのやめて。
もううるさいな。何大声出してんのよ。近所迷惑でしょ。チルチルの新しいあだ名を考えてたのよさ。なんだっけ？
イカ醤油よ、イカ醤油っていうか私はイカ醤油じゃないわよ。
どっちなのよ。
鮮魚超人マグロマンに出てくる怪人みたいで素敵じゃないですか、イカ醤油。他人事だと思って気軽に肯定してくれてんじゃないわよ。いい？これは立派ないじめよ。
ちなみにあまねえはイカフライに何をかけて食べる？そうね、醤油かな。なんとしまったのよさ。ここにも怪人イカ醤油がもう一匹。チルチル、残念だけどイカ醤油は諦めてほしいのよ。
全然残念じゃないから。心の底からホッとしてるから。 ちなみに私はソース派です。
別に聞いてないから。よし、今日から貴様はイカソースだ。ほら見なさい、余計なこと言うから頭の悪い子に変なあだ名つけられた。そして私はイカマヨ。あんたイカフライにマヨネーズつけて食べるの？え？だってほら、おつまみとかのサキイカにはマヨネーズつけて食べるんだし、変じゃないよね。そう言われると、どうなんだろう。多数決でも取ってみる？いや、何の意味があって？お？ちょいとそこ行くお嬢さん、意見を聞かせておくれでないかい？そうそう、そこでしかと決め込んでるあなたよ。そこで私に気安く話しかけないでくれないかしら。友達だと思われたら迷惑だわって背中で語ってるあなたに言ってるのよ。せっかくスルーしようと思っていたのに、一番厄介なのに見つかって声かけられたって感じで大きく肩を落としているあなた、そこのあなた、とりあえずこっち向け。なんで怒ってんの？
胸に手を当ててよく考えてごらんなさい。
知るか。そんなことよりユミちゃんはイカフライに何をかけて食べるのよ。
さすがに堪忍袋の尾が切れそうだわ。
ごめん、言ってること難しすぎた。イカフライってあるでしょ。イカを輪切りにして衣をつけて揚げたやつ。
知っているわよ、それぐらい
だよな。でだ、それに何つけて食べるって話なんだけど。
残念ながらそんな庶民の食べ物なんて私は食べたことないわ。
マジで？
本当よ。だから私に変なあだ名をつけようとしても無駄な。よ
し、今日から貴様はノーフライだ。
この子、人の話をまるで聞いていない。
確かに榊さんってノーフライって感じするよね。ちょっとあまね、笑ってないであんたからも言ってよ。人に変なあだ名つけるなって。いいじゃない、別に楽しくて。全然楽しくないわよ。だいたいあの子のつけるあだ名って悪意があるのよ。
Man, I'm actually laughing quite a bit. You guys are not hearing it because it was actually so small, so the mic didn't pick it up. But I guess after playing through Machina's route, you kind of have somewhat of a soft spot for Machina through her antics like this. It's actually nice seeing her this happy, considering what happened.
おい、人聞きの悪いことを言うなよ、パツキン。後ろからやっちまうぞ、てめえ。つうか、最近ますます言葉遣い悪くなってきてるし。
これは明らかに風見さんの悪影響ですよね。
私には自分がないから人の真似をして生きていくしかないのよさ。だから仕方がないのよ。
That actually makes a lot of sense. When you're a kid, you kind of live yourself by imitating people that you respect. For the longest time, I was also doing the same thing. But you kind of get a feel about who you are as time goes on. Like, you can't really be imitating people for the rest of your life. At that point, you're never gonna get happy, I think. Or you become one of those crazy psycho murderers that kill people and become them, right? There was a movie about that, and probably an anime too.
何ちょっと悲しいこと言ってごまかそうとしてんのよ。そんなんで騙されないわよ。ちょっとこっち来なさいな。痛い、引っ張らないで、脱げちゃうの。あんたまたブラしてない。この子はもう見られて減るもんじゃないのよさ。
Okay.
私、もう部屋に戻っても構わないかしら。
まだいいじゃない。どうせ部屋に帰っても ネットでエロ画像を集めるぐらいしかやることないんでしょ。
勝手な憶測で私を語らないでいただけないかしら。
はいはい、ごめんよ。そうカリカリしないでよ。ノンフライなんでしょ。
その変なあだ名もやめて。
へいへい。っていうかさ、そもそもなんでイカフライなの？
それは多分マキちゃんが食べたいだけなのではないかと。
え、そうなの？でもマキナ、今日は酢豚がいいって言ってたじゃない。
酢豚がいいのよ。でもイカフライも嫌いじゃないのよさ。
イカフライね。なんでか知らないけど、あんたってば歯ごたえのある食べ物好きよね。
硬い方が食べ物としての満足度が上。
まあわかんないでもないけどね。じゃあイカフライも作ろうか。肉より魚介の方がユージも喜ぶだろうし。
それがいいのよ。あれ、そういえばお兄ちゃんは？
あ、ユージならバイトだって。さっき JB って人と出かけてったよ。
バイト？
別に興味なんかないけど、あいつ何のバイトしてんのよ。
掃除屋さんなのかな。清掃業者の作業服みたいなの着てたし。
ああ、そういえばそんなこと言ってたわね。風見さん、両親を早くに亡くしたみたいですし、学費とかも自分で働いて捻出していらっしゃるのでしょう。彼は書類上海外からの招待入学枠で在籍しているから、学費の8割は免除されているはずよ。在学費は免除でも日々の生活費とかは自費ですよね。そこまでは知らないわ。JB とかっていううさんくさい金髪女が面倒を見てるんじゃないの？その辺はさ。
それ言ったら後染め偽金髪のチルチルの方がうさんくさいけどな。
あんたね、伸ばすわよ。
何をだよ。
そもそもハルデラさんって何者なんでしょう？
なんだっけ、ユージのものすごく遠い親戚だっけ？
あいつのお姉さんの妹？それって結局姉なのでは？お姉さんの友達じゃなかったかしら。それって他人じゃん。他人がなんであいつの面倒を見てるのよ。私に聞かれても知るわけないじゃない。でも挨拶をすると、いつもうちのユージがお世話になってますっていかにも身内然とした受け答えをなさいますし、血縁はなくとも深い関係が推測されますよね。サチ、あんたあの女と話したことあるの？はい、以前校門の前を掃除していた時にお見かけしました。何やら校門から内部を監視するような不審な人物を発見したので速やかに排除しようと竹ぼうきを片手に声をかけましたら、ハルデラさんでした。
ねえさっちゃん、不審者を見かけたらとりあえず声をかけるってのやめなよ。本当に不審者だったらどうする気？
Bonnie is right, you know.
不審な行動をしていると声をかけてくる者がいるという事実が重要なのですよ。犯罪を制圧するのが目的ではなく、未然に抑止するための警戒行動です。
Still quite dangerous, Sachi.
言いたいことはわかるけどさ、実際に悪意を持った男に襲われたら、あんたなんか障子紙破るみたいにあっさり抑え込まれちゃうわよ。
でも確かになんか怪しいのよね、あの女。私もこの前駅前で偶然に会って少し話をしたんだけど、なんかこうひょうひょうとして正体をつかませないっていうか、妙に人懐っこいあの笑顔も嘘くさいし。
でもそんな悪い人じゃないのよ。この前ガムくれたのよさ。
あんたもあったの？っていうか、知らない人から物をもらっちゃダメっていっつも言ってるでしょうが。
だって全く知らん人じゃないし、それに営業の仕事でガムとかキャンディーはいつもいっぱい持ち歩いてるからって言って
営業の仕事？
ガムやキャンディーを配る営業というとセーフォレディとか？
でもユージは清掃員なんだよ。
確かにあの嘘くさい笑顔も営業スマイルと考えれば納得できるような。
あんたね、全国のセーフォレディにぶっ飛ばされるわよ。
ですが1階のセーフォレディが使う営業者にしてはあの派手な車は失礼ながら税が過ぎるかと。
True. I doubt people that work in insurance, unless they're at the very top, could spend that much money on a car.
あの車っていくらぐらいするものなの？
Probably tens to 20 thousands of dollars, Michiru. Maybe more.
だいたい1800万円ぐらいじゃないかしら。
Yeah, how much is that in USD? So cut about 100 or like 2 zeros. 18 million. So 18,000? Is that right? That's right. 180,000? Jesus! Okay, that's way more than I thought. Is it 180,000? Or is it even more, in fact?
マジで？
それに車は買った後も維持費がかかるしね。普段の足に使ってればタイヤなんて半年で丸坊主になっちゃうだろうし、一回交換すればうん十万は飛んでくよね。
I mean, 100,000 for tires aren't that bad.
何？あの女そんなにお金持ちなの？
Wait, 100,000 is actually like $1,000 bucks, so that is pretty bad. I thought in my head it was like 10,000 yen, so like 100 bucks.
外資系の保険会社と考えても腑には落ちないわね。やっぱりなんか怪しい。そもそも何人なの？
生真面目なドイツ人？
陽気なイタリア人では？
大雑把なアメリカ人なのよさ。間違いない。
Freaking machina.
なんで間違いないなんて言い切れるのよ。
だって挨拶の時ハウディって言ってた。今時あんな挨拶するの田舎のカウボーイか80年代に学生だったおばさんぐらいなの
You
よ。
watch too many movies, machina.
確かに謎だわ。
つうかさ、このままでいいわけ？
何が？
だってあの JB って女絶対にユージとそのなんていうの？
You know, sugar mama, I guess.
ただれた関係。そう、それただれた関係ってやつじゃないの？
どうなんだろうね。
いいの？放っておいて。あんまりあんたさ、あんなの相手に勝てるの？
勝つって何に？
だからあの女によ。まあ確かに若さとかおっぱいの大きさとかじゃ負けてないかもしれないけど、何しろ相手は金髪よ。つまりツンデレじゃない。きっと今頃あの女ユージの前でデレデレしているわよ。
さみちる、その金髪が全員ツンデレって認識は間違っていると思うわよ。
違うの？私に聞かないでよ。とにかくこのままあの女に好きにさせておいていいのかって私はそう言いたいのよ。
いいも悪いも別に私はユージの彼女とかそういうんじゃないし、ユージのお姉ちゃんになれればそれはそれで構わないっていうか。
甘い！激甘よ。それってただの便利な飯炊き女じゃない。それで何が得られるわけ？
自己満足かな。
なんという弱腰。見損なったわよ、そうあまね。あなたには本当にがっかりだわ。
みちる、あんた何怒ってんのよ。
なんとなくですけれど、みちる様の言いたいこともわかります。
どういうこと？
営
うまく言えないんですけど、結局のところよく知らない女の人に風見さんを取られるのが単純に気に入らないんだと思います。
さっちゃんも行っちゃうの？なんだろうな、私にどうしろっての？はあ、まあいいか。さて、私も晩ご飯の用意しなきゃ。
私も。
ねえねえ、ユミちゃんユミち
嫌な予感しかしないけれど、一応返事はしておくわ。何かしら？
ゃん、ノンフライじゃあんまりだから新しいあだ名考えてみた。
全然聞きたくないけど、一応言ってみなさい。
バー
は？
バラだからバーバラ、
なぜ？
もしくはイボンヌ。ね、どっちがいい？
逃げ遅れた。
は
でっかいあくび。マキナ眠いの？
おい、ちょっとだけ眠い。お兄ちゃん遅いね。
仕事長引いてるのかもね。いつ帰るかわからないって言ってたし、あんたもう先に部屋に戻って寝たら？
あんまねえわ。
私はもう少しここで待つよ。やることもあるし。
やることって？
ユージの制服にアイロンかけなきゃ。
私も手伝うのよさ。
いいよ、もう10時になるし眠いでしょ。あとは任せておきなさい。
ごめんね、ハマネ。
いいって、一人で部屋まで戻れる？さてとっとと終わらせちゃいますか。
Same day, same time.
悪かったわね、こんな時間まで付き合わせて。
Par for the course. Nothing to feel guilty about.
部屋に女の子待たせてるんでしょ？
Ah. I glanced down at the watch on my left wrist. It's 10 p.m. already, and they eat dinner at 7, so there's no way she's still going to be waiting at this point.
わかんないよ。あまねちゃんって言ったっけ？ああいう子ってさ、約束は約束って感じでさ、例えばデートの待ち合わせとかでも彼氏が来るまで何時間も平気で待ってそうだよね。
I really don't think she's that inflexible.
今から帰るって電話ぐらいしておいたら？
What's the point? We'll be at the dorm soon.
わかってないな。そういう男の豆さが女には重要なのよ。
That's actually somewhat true. Technically not for women, it's for both parties. Like, you know, just telling what you're doing, sometimes just contact them to know how you're doing and what you're doing right when you're getting home and all that. It makes for a very good flow of conversation, I guess, and it builds trust. Does getting in contact all of 10 minutes earlier really make that much of a difference?
されど10分の差なのよ。悪いこと言わないから電話しておきなさい。
It's not the 10 minutes, Yuji. Getting a lecture about women from JB is distinctly aggravating, but I don't think she's wrong. I take my private cell phone out of my work clothes breast pocket and pause for a moment in thought. No, don't think I will after all.
あら、どうして？
You're assuming that Amane is still waiting, but there's a chance she gave it up hours ago. If I call her now and get, sorry, I was asleep, it would be pretty damn awkward.
待ってると思うけどな。女の子には嫌われないようにしておきなさい。
If there's some reason I need to worry about that, I'll take appropriate measures.
人類の半分は女よ。汝の隣人を愛する前に汝敵を作るなかれってね。
I thought it's actually 2/3 women now.
女の子には優しくして有意義な学生生活を楽しんだ方が得じゃない。もしあまねちゃんが怒ってたらちゃんと謝るのよ。
I can't think of any reason why she'd be angry. I told Imani beforehand that I'd be back late, and I don't remember asking her to wait for me. If she's still waiting anyway, logically speaking, that's nobody's fault but her own. But for some reason, I do feel like I should at least come up with some sort of excuse. Am I losing my edge or something? You might be, Yuji. If I were you, I probably wouldn't care and just just go to bed maybe.
お疲れ様。
I mean, I guess I do feel sorry for Imani if she's waiting that long, but it is her fault. I fully agree with you on that. Appreciate you going out of your way to drop me off.
いいのよ。それじゃあまたあなたにしかできない仕事が入ったら連絡するわ。
Do me a favor and try not to call me out for every little thing, alright?
そう言わないの。予備役ってことでこの学園に通うとかが降りたんだから。
I'm aware. Alright. Alright, JB, see you later. I think that's supposed to be a comma there.
ちょっと待ってユージ。
Hmm? What now?
今日はお疲れ様。今日のあなたとっても素敵だったわ。すごく激しくてワイルドで私しびれちゃった。
I'm guessing JB saw someone and she's doing this to make them what is it? Think of her as a sugar mama? I'm guessing someone's actually at the front gate. What is this all of a sudden? Why are you getting out of the car?
あなたにお休みのキスをしようと思って。
What?
おやすみユージ。
Hey, the hell? Suddenly, JB twines her arms around me and draws close, planting a kiss on the side of my face with all the force and speed of a rattlesnake striking its prey. Teehee yourself, seriously nauseating.
じゃあねユージ。愛してるわ。また連絡するね。
JB lets out a high-pitched giggle unworthy of her years and swings back into her car, kicking her high heels vigorously up into the air. In the next moment, she's speeding noisily off into the night. What the hell was that all about? When JB acts like that, it means she's up to something. I can't imagine what she possibly hoped to accomplish this time, but it's best to err on the side of caution when dealing with that woman's schemes. Some sort of trap? I mumble to myself uneasily, watching as JB's car dwindles quickly into the distance, like a bad boy fleeing the scene of a successful prank. And when I turn back toward the school, the nature of her snare becomes clear at once. I mean, true enough. Sachi. Sachi stands frozen a little distance away. Her cheeks are flushed red. She's lightly biting down on her lower lip, and her whole body seems to be trembling slightly. She's holding a white plastic shopping bag in her hand, probably on her way back from an expedition to the convenience store by the station.
私何も見てませんから。
Hey, hold on. Sachi, I'm pretty sure you're misunderstanding something very badly right now. Let me explain.
私みちる様に頼まれたアイスクリームを買って帰る途中なので失礼します。
Damn you, JB! I'm telling you to hold on for a second, alright? JB and I aren't, well, our relationship isn't...
わかっています。ただれた関係というやつですよね。私も子供ではないので、男の人はそういう体だけのドライな関係というか、むしろウェットな関係を求めるということも理解しています。
Stop talking, Sachi.
ノープロブレムです。はい。
No. That's not... JB and I aren't... Look, you got this wrong. She was just screwing around.
はい、わかってます。大人の悪ふざけですね。大丈夫です。あまねさんには黙っておきますから。このことは薄い私の胸にそっとしまっておきますから。
Look, Sachi, can you please just calm down?
疑ってますか？疑ってますね。大丈夫です。こう見えても私、口は硬い方なんです。なんなら今この場で押し倒してキスして確かめてみますか？
Say what?
さ
What?
ん、もしかして私今とんでもないことを言いましたか？
Yes, you did indeed.
もしかして私はこの後レイプされるのでしょうか？
Get out of here, Sashi. By whom? Stop pointing at me. Look, just get lost, will you? Michiru's waiting, right?
はい、失礼しました。
For crying out loud. There's no way that was a coincidence. JB must have noticed her. What a malicious prank. The dose was way too strong for a girl with no immunity whatsoever. God damn, JB. I think I might need to give that woman a serious scolding one of these days.
風見さん、
What? You're still here? You need something?
春寺さんはあくまでもセフレで、本命は天音さんってことでいいんですよね。
Look, I said it's a goddamn misunderstanding, alright? Get lost already. I'll rape you. I don't think that's something you should be saying, Yuji.
ほっぺに口紅ついてます。天音さんに会う前に拭いてください。それでは。
Unbelievable. Every last one of them. Even as I mutter my complaints, I wipe my cheek clean with the cuff of my work uniform. JB's pricey lipstick, visibly distinct from the knockoff stuff students buy in convenience stores, is reduced to a fragrant smear on the sleeve of my pea-green shirt. It smells distinctly of a grown woman. As I take a whiff, the contrastive scent of gunpowder soaked into my uniform also pricks my nose. Do I smell? Well, whatever. There's nothing I can do about it right now. To be honest, coming back late to this sort of slapstick routine is kind of a bear. Bear? I don't know. What does that mean? That's a very weird expression. Especially after hours of tension and strain on the job. My feet feel oddly heavy as I walk toward the dorm. Back when I was in active duty, I don't think this much would have worn me out. I guess I've probably gone a little soft since I entered the school. Walking past the school building, I'm just crossing over the covered pathway leading to the gym when something ahead catches my eye. There's a light on in my window. Amane? She actually waited? There was no guarantee I'd even come back. In the first place, there was absolutely nothing in it for her. Why sit around in an empty room? Does she enjoy wasting her time? When people put a lot of time into something that produces no concrete benefit to them, that activity can often be classified as a hobby. Maybe sitting around patiently is Amani's favorite pastime. There are a lot of bizarre hobbies out there, no doubt, and it's hardly my place to tell Amani how to spend her leisure time. Even so, I have to say she'd probably be better off finding some slightly more rewarding pursuit. Of course, whether I'll ever share that opinion with her is another matter entirely. The instant I open the door to my room, the smell of domestic life floods into my nose. For a moment, I hesitate in the entrance, my hand frozen on the doorknob. The scent of another human being mingles with the lingering smell of some sort of cooking, forming a greasy, homely mix. When I was a child, and later when I lived with my master, the scent was ubiquitous, natural. But right now, it feels alien to me. My room seems strangely unfamiliar.
おかえり。
Yeah, I'm home. Slightly averting my gaze from Amane's unexpected smile, I glance at my wristwatch. It's already past 10 p.m. At my old school, we'd be past lights out by now. Were you waiting for me?
まあね。書き置きだけ残して部屋に戻ろうかとも思ったんだけど、やることもあったし。
What?
アイロンがけ。
I glance around the room. The clothes I left scattered on the floor earlier are gone. In exchange, a cleaned, ironed, and neatly folded school uniform sits next to Amane.
アイロンは糊がバリバリに効いてる方がいいんだよね。
Yeah? In my line of work, any uniform you wear is expected to be stiff as a board at all times. Get spotted with a wrinkle or two, and your superiors are going to give you absolute hell, as a general rule. As a result, I've got an ingrained habit of spraying enough starch on my shirts that you can practically prop them up like a tent after ironing. But I'm pretty sure I've never discussed any of this with Amane before. She probably just noticed my shirts are always crisp and reached that conclusion on her own. Not that this is anything out of the ordinary for her. She's got a truly impressive eye for this sort of detail.
それと胸のところのボタンが取れかけてたから縫い直しておいた。
She passes over the uniform with a smile. On inspection, there is indeed one button with a slightly different colored thread. It's been sewn on particularly firmly. The sight gives me a strange feeling of deja vu. What's this feeling? Right. Back in elementary school, I'd been wearing a shirt with a loose button when someone stopped me, then proceeded to sew it back on right where I stood. My one and only sister, Kazami Kazuki. I see.
実は裁縫はあんまり得意じゃなくてさ、ちょっと縫い目がごつくなっちゃったけど、取れちゃうよりはマシでしょ?
Yeah, thanks. Now that I think about it, hobbies aren't the only reason people act in unprofitable ways. Family. The word wells up spontaneously somewhere in the depths of my chest. Working for someone else without compensation, without any expectation of gain, simply out of affection, as if it's the most natural thing in the world. I can't believe we're talking about this topic just after what happened to my family. That's what family is, or so they tell me.
ねえ、晩ご飯はどこかで食べてきた?
No, I haven't eaten anything.
じゃあ、お腹空いてるよね。すぐに食べる?
I guess one of the reasons why I liked this game a lot back when I was younger is the fact that a lot of the themes of the game are not that uncommon, but it's very detailed in how they expose and, you know, just explore the theme. Like in Machina's case, it was basically, you know, what is it? Like, what's the word when you're like being protected by someone? Basically being weak, right? Basically being a kid, right? Yeah, being childish, don't want to grow up. I actually felt that. Heck, I actually still feel that right now. A part of me feels like I don't want to grow up ever. I just want to keep being a kid. Yeah, and now this, I guess, is about family.
待ってて。今温め直すから。
Smiling casually, Amane heads to the kitchen with light, graceful steps, then places a plate filled with sweet and sour pork and calamari rings in the microwave. Speaking of which, why is there a microwave in my room anyway? I don't remember it being here when I left. For that matter, there's an unfamiliar rice cooker sitting on a shelf next to it. What's with the microwave?
ああ、これね。マキナが使ってたレンジなの。あの子、自分の部屋にはめったに戻らないし、もう使わないだろうから、ユージの部屋に寄付してくれるって。
That rice cooker too?
そういうこと。3合炊きの小さいやつだけど、半合で炊くよりは手間がかからなくていいでしょ?
I see. The scent that inspired a moment of unease when I entered the room was probably the traces of fragrant steam produced by the small rice cooker. Even as a kid, I didn't have much in the way of happy family dinners. But after my parents and sister died, I came to view meals as nothing more than regularly scheduled nutritional supply periods. And now, something inside me shrinks instinctively away from this sort of warm domestic meal. There's always this nagging, almost guilty sense that I don't belong in this picture. Of course, when I was living with my master, there were a few meals like this, but that woman was fundamentally crappy in the kitchen and rarely bothered to cook a full-fledged meal. The food she served me wasn't inedible, but it was never what you could call tasty either. JB would occasionally stop by on a whim and whip something up, and the food was definitely an improvement. But it was hard to get too emotional about it knowing I was going to be cleaning up the mess she always left in the kitchen. Hey, Amane. I think I've asked this before, but why do you so stick to me so persistently? I think that's a typo there.
だから一目惚れって言ったよね。それプラス私の性格。なんか私って誰かの世話を焼くのが好きみたい。
Do you really expect me to be satisfied with that explanation?
だって他に言いようがないもの。っていうかどうしてそんなに疑うかな。
I mean, isn't it too convenient? You don't ask him questions, you don't ask him to be your boyfriend. You're just taking care of him and then that's it. You don't gain anything by it. Sure, you might gain his favor. Yuji might think that, yeah, you're a nice person, but isn't that about it? Because it's way too convenient a story. Can't help feeling a little skeptical. A beauty with huge breasts falls in love with me at first sight, then unilaterally lavishes attention on me out of sheer affection? I'm not quite wet enough behind the ears to swallow that shoddy manga-style setup. There's something else behind this. I don't think this is me being paranoid. It seems like common sense.
逆に聞くけど、ユージは今まで何人の女の子と付き合ってきたわけ？
I've never dated anyone in my life. Same Yuji, same.
だったらさ、ユージが知らないだけで私みたいな女がいたって変じゃないでしょ？
No, I know for a fact that even if I haven't dated anyone, Amane, people are not that kind. I know that for a fact, sadly. And that's the truth. As much as I don't want to admit it, that's the truth. People are not that kind. There are kind people out there, I'm not denying that, but the majority of the people, they're either indifferent or even malicious. Well, I guess. Can't deny that I've got gaps in my knowledge. If she declares this is just how women are these days, I don't have enough points of reference to mount a rebuttal.
自分に理解できないものをありえないと否定するのは簡単だけど、それって自分の無知を棚に上げた発言なんじゃないかな。
I mean, you're not wrong if you're trying to logically explain it that way.
すぐに理解しろとは言わないけど、せめて世の中には私みたいな女もいるって事実は認めないと。
There are, but maybe a one in, what, a billion? Maybe that's even being very charitable. Maybe not, 1 in a billion. You have a point. As a result of ignoring a reality I didn't want to accept. I think that's supposed to be I. This country once marched blindly into a crushing defeat, mouthing flowery rhetoric about inevitable victory the whole way. I'm guessing they're talking about World War II. In the same way, dismissing a perspective you can't understand as ridiculous is just an egotistical refusal to admit other ways of looking at the world exist. I mean, like I said, I'm not denying the fact, it's just that it's very improbable. At the very least, I have to acknowledge that my values aren't universal.
はーい、お待たせ。用意できたよ。
Tell me something, Amane.
何？
Do you really love me?
言わなかったっけ？大好きだよ。
No hesitation whatsoever. And yet, her words still ring hollow in my ears. Is the problem on my end? Well, fine. I guess there's at least one woman out there deranged enough to fall in love with a man like me. I'll accept that as reality.
何それ？つまり、私がユージを好きだって言葉、信じる気になったってこと？
I'm not going to accuse you of lying, that's all. I still don't understand why you feel the way you do. And there's no change in the fact that I find overly convenient women vaguely nauseating.
さ、私の一方的な片思いなのは分かってるけど、それでもこうして海外しく接してくる私を少しは不憫だなとか思わないわけ？
No. Sorry, Amane, but rather than pitying someone, I'd rather be straight up honest with them. I really hate pity. Being pitied on is something that I hate a lot. People sympathizing with one another, that's okay. But when you feel pity on someone, I feel like that's not really something that you should feel, you know? I don't know. I personally hate pity. I really hate it. If I start lying to you out of compassion and dating you out of pity, will you really be happy?
たとえきっかけが同情だったとしても、同情のまま終わるような女じゃないもの、私。
Man, you have a comeback for everything, don't you? You're one hell of a tough, proactive woman, you know that?
惚れ直した？
To be honest, I'm envious.
いいからご飯食べちゃいなさい。
Yeah, sounds like a plan. I bring my hands together in front of the food Amane zapped with loving care in the microwave, give her my thanks, and move my chopsticks toward the plate. Sweet and sour pork and fried squid. It's one hell of a strange combination, thematically speaking, but the taste itself is impeccable as ever. Her skill at cooking is superb, and in contrast to her seemingly rough, careless attitude, she's unusually attentive to small details and highly considerate of others' needs. A good woman any way you look at her. Of course, I think that's the exact reason I can't rid myself of my doubts. Why would she fall in love with me of all people? It's delicious.
そう？よかった。
Whatever the case may be, I think Amane's smile is probably genuine. And that's why it makes me feel like there's a thorn stabbing into my chest. Do I even deserve to be loved? I understand that I'm overthinking things, but I can't stop. Every time I get on this train of thought, I start wondering what I'm even living for. Whether there's any real meaning in my survival. I start thinking, I must be a pretty pathetic excuse for a human being if I can't believe in that smile. I don't know, I think you're being too harsh on yourself, Yuji. Someone like Amane is definitely unreasonable, and like I said, I don't doubt there are people like her, but it's just so improbable that you would meet one of these people yourselves. I personally believe in my whole life that I would never find someone like Amane. If I did, I don't know, I wouldn't believe it, I think. When you get down to it, my master was right. I'm still just a punk kid. Just as my mouth begins to loosen into a self-deprecating smile, the sound of a cell phone's message alert resounds inside the room. I instinctively reach my hand to the breast pocket of my work clothes, but the sound didn't come from my phone, which would mean...
あれ、メールだ。
Amane takes out the cell phone she left carelessly in the pocket of her jeans, opens it, and peers down at the LCD screen.
さっちゃんからだ。何々？
It seems the message was sent from comedian Sachi's email address. At that name, my chopsticks abruptly stopped dead in midair. For some reason, I have a bad feeling about this. Apparently finished with Sachi's message, Amane quietly brushes up her long hair with her free hand.
ねえ、ユージ。これ、何？
Amane holds out her cell phone for my inspection. Naturally, Sachi's email is displayed on the screen. From Sachan to Suo Amane. Subject, I can't say a thing. Message, and I didn't see a thing. The contents of the email are that single short line. The problem lies in the image attached to it. It's a camera phone snapshot taken only a little while ago. What a skillful piece of work, really. In front of the school gate, JB is pressing her lips to my cheek, with arms twined around me. Well, that was... Involuntarily, I swallowed the food in my mouth, along with a lump of spit. It goes down my throat like a rock. Okay, Sachi, what happened to not saying anything to Mane? I mean, I guess she didn't technically put it in words, but... Well, this is Sachi we're talking about. I doubt she did this for the malicious pleasure of it. The burden of keeping the secret was just too heavy for her to bear. In agony with guilt over Amane's ignorance, she probably took advantage of this dubious loophole out of sheer desperation. It was just a stupid prank of JB's.
いたずら？
Well, let's see. It's kind of a long story, but that's pretty much just how she is. Mind going into that long story of yours? What exactly were you doing with JB at the front gate? That's the logical next question for Amane to ask, but... JB is a naturally wicked woman. prone to harassing me in this way at unexpected moments just so she can smirk at my agitation. Would be my explanation, I guess, but it hardly seems enough to satisfy Amane. Unfortunately, it also happens to be the truth, so there's not much I can do about it.
アルバイトに行ってたんじゃなかったの？
Yeah, I was. Wait, that doesn't mean this is my job, okay? It isn't.
ふーん。あ、そう。
Saying that and that alone, Amane closes the cell phone in her hand with a snap, not betraying any particular interest. I sort of expected you to ask me about the job at this point.
どこで何をしていたの？
I told you I work for a cleaning company, right?
うん。
Today we were cleaning a 20-story building in Tokyo, but, well, this big rat appeared and we were still getting set up, so everyone ended up chasing it around. Thing was, though, the rat was unexpectedly nimble. We ended up losing sight of it entirely. If we just let the thing get away, it eventually popped out of its hole again and caused more havoc. And our client was telling us, I can't sleep at night when that rat's on the loose. And all that. I kind of messed up this that sentence, but kept going with the sentence anyway. That's why that sentence sounds so weird. So we ended up splitting up to track the thing down, but for a rat, it was pretty sly. It took a good 3 hours before we found it again and finally exterminated the thing. I'm intentionally replacing certain nouns with metaphorical analogs, but the information I'm giving Amane is otherwise roughly accurate. I really did spend hours running through the intricate web of sewers under Tokyo in hot pursuit of a rat. Incidentally, a gas mask does absolutely nothing to improve the smell of raw sewage.
へえ、大変だったんだね。
Yeah, I guess it was. But, that's all you have to say? After promising I'd have a meal with her, I ran off to work all of a sudden, and stayed late without even giving her a call. Not that I possibly could have, leaving her to wait in vain for hours. And to top it off, her reward for his patience is a picture of me flirting around with my boss. But she's not planning to say a word of complaint? I mean, I'm putting up a bit of a defensive front and all, but even I recognize that she kind of got shafted on this one. If she grumbled a little, I was pretty much ready to give her a proper apology. But this indifferent response is well outside of the range of my expectations. To be honest, it's inspiring some serious unease on my part. Generally, aren't women more, jealous creatures? Not just women, I'd say, Yuji. I'm not exactly an expert, but I've known a few females in my time. As I understand them, women tend to be more selfish about things like this. To the point of irrationality, even. That's because there are some bastard males out there, Yuji. I know that for a fact, too. You don't have any questions about any of that? I'm not also denying the fact that there are bastard females out there. Let me be clear, I am a very equal person. I both believe that men and women can both be evil, they can both be jealous, they can both feel the same thing.
だって仕事の話に口挟まれるの嫌でしょ？それとも何か疑ってほしいの？
That's not it, but...
まあそりゃね、私よりも仕事を優先したってのは面白くないよ。でもそうする必要があったからあんたはそうしたんでしょ？
Yes.
だったら何も間違っていないじゃない。
Yeah, well, I guess not, but... Amane is weirdly understanding about this. She's being so reasonable that it's somehow making me feel increasingly guilty about the whole thing. It's kind of a complicated feeling. All of a sudden, some kind of switch seems to have been flipped inside Amane. Her eyes narrow with the slits, and her lips jerk up in the very picture of a smirk.
そっか。もしかしてユージ、私に焼き餅を焼いてほしかったのかな？
No, that's really not...
そうよね。ユージはツンデレだもんね。それじゃあ、焼き餅焼いちゃおうかな。
Spare me.
キスしてくれたら許すかもよ。
This woman. Exactly how serious is she about this? No, I think the real question is, how badly is she underestimating men? Alright, Amane. Close your eyes.
いやー強引。でもそういうの好き。
Clearly confident this is nothing more than a bluff, Amane closes her eyes, jerks her chin up, and fearlessly sticks out her lips. This girl's looking down on me. Maybe I should teach her a lesson.
セーブしますか？
Yeah, so I believe to get into her route, you actually do steal the kiss. If I was myself, if this was like a blind playthrough, I definitely would have chosen this because I wouldn't let myself get carried away. I guess I'm way too defensive of a person. When someone is like provoking me, I actually go back instead of taking that provocation. To me, that seems like the smart move. But I do want to go through the game, you know, based on as the route is presented, so we will do this. Myself personally though, and I think like back when I was playing this myself, I definitely chose this one first. That's right. Unless someone scares her straight, this girl's attitude toward men is going to come back to bite her badly one of these days. I have a responsibility to educate Amane in the dangers of messing with men. I'll harden my heart and teach her a lesson she won't soon forget. Whatever, Yuji. I seize the cocky girl's chin, firmly jerk it upward, and plunge my mouth against her glossy lips with all the sudden violence of a dive bomber assault. Evidently surprised by my sudden attack, Amane's shoulders twitch as I draw her close. Heh, the fool probably didn't think I had it in me. That's what you get for underestimating the male gender. I temporarily release her lips, drawing back just far enough to speak a few words. Open your mouth, Amane. Utterly bewildered, Amane's mouth opens slightly to voice her confusion. I instantly push my lips back against hers. As I shove my tongue into her mouth, pushing her lips further apart by force, Amane grabs the shoulders of my work uniform and tries to pull me off. With no success, of course. Much the opposite, I lean into Amane from above, pushing my body weight down on her to contain her resistance, and invade the interior of her mouth with my tongue. Her will to resist apparently broken by the force of my violent raid, Amane's grip on my clothes grow gradually weaker, finally slipping off powerlessly. And as if to signal her unconditional surrender, a weak, high-pitched pant leaks out of the corner of her mouth. Heh, guess I'll let her off the hook. I let the arm I wrap around Amane's waist to prevent her retreat go slack, then give her 2 light thumps on the back to communicate that I'm letting her go. Amane's upper body had been forcibly bent backward by my weight. It takes a moment for her to regain her balance and pull herself straight. Finally released from my arms, Amane staggers back half a step, blinking her eyes in astonishment.
素直にキスしてくれたのもびっくりなら、唇にされるとは思ってなかったから2度びっくり。
Huh. Didn't think I had it in me, did you? Shouldn't have let your guard down. Let down your guard, sorry. Unfortunately for you, I'm prone to taking jokes seriously.
私、キスしたの初めてだったんだよ。
Oh? What a coincidence. Mine too.
嘘つき。
Clearly a lie, considering he knows what to do. Hmm? Damn, what gave me away?
なんか、ユージのキス、慣れてる感じがした。
I see. I'll have to take it a little easier next time.
それは、この次もあるってこと？
You said that for the hell of it.
なんだ、遊びでキスされちゃったんだ、私。
I'm extremely surprised to hear you frame the matter in such a negative way. I bestowed you with a valuable lesson in the danger of teasing men. My motives were unimpeachable.
でも彼氏にはなってくれないんでしょ？キスしたくせに。
Well, let's not rush into any parliamentary procedures here. I wouldn't have pulled a stunt like that unless I was prepared to accept something in the way of consequences.
それなりの覚悟って？
Listen carefully, Imane. I can't be your boyfriend, but I'm willing to accept you as my girlfriend.
それってどういうこと？
You fell in love with me on your own initiative, and I'll accept that. But I'm not capable of making a commitment to you. I can't promise I'll be able to take care of you for the rest of your life.
ごめん、私バカだからよくわかんない。つまり私が彼女になるのは認めるけど、あんたは私の彼氏にはなれないってこと？
That's right.
つまり結局は私はユージの彼女になってもいいんだよね。
You know just how many cons this has on you, Imane, but not on me? He's basically telling you, I got no commitment, but if we want to do some sexy stuff, he's okay with it. Yeah, under certain conditions.
どんな？
Even if I disappear suddenly or drop dead out of nowhere, I don't want you to cry over me. Ever. That's the main thing.
それだけ？
Also, let's see. If I do disappear, I want you to do your absolute best to forget about me within a year or so. I know they're pretty selfish requests, but if you can't accept those conditions, I can't do anything for you. We can pretend this never happened and stay as classmates.
その条件を飲めば私はユージの彼女？
Yeah, that's right.
じゃあその条件飲むよ。
Did you think this over? There's no reason you have to answer right away.
いいよ、今決めちゃった方が気が楽だし、ごちゃごちゃ悩むの嫌いだから。
I see.
じゃあさ、私からも条件出してもいいかな。
Like what?
ユージは私のこと好き？それだけでいいから今この場で聞かせて。正直に言ってもいいんだよ。
Let's see. To be honest, I think I've liked you for quite a while now, but I'm not exactly experienced with this sort of emotion. I don't understand how exactly to describe my feelings for you, but yeah, I think she deserves a clear answer here. I do love you, Imane.
そうなんだ。じゃあ安心だね。よかった、それが聞けて。
Whether or not that's actually him being truthful or not, I'm not sure. Well, I think pretty much anyone is going to love having a convenient, devoted woman dropped in their lap. I mean, true, but that also makes me very defensive to some degree. Like I said, I'm a coward by nature. So when things are going a bit too convenient, I actually fall back.
私の粘りがちってやつだね。ちなみにどんぐらい好きかって聞いてもいい？
What? How am I supposed to measure that?
大体でいいんだよ。例えば宇宙一好きとか。
Can't say. Haven't had the chance to explore the universe yet.
そういう話じゃなくて、あくまでも例えばの話。
Alright then, hypothetically, if your life or property came in danger, I'd protect you even if it meant throwing away everything else. Away. To tell the truth, that's probably just about the only thing I can do for you. The responsibility to protect. That, at least, is a concept I'm familiar with. It's a bit of a catchphrase in my line of work.
じゃあさ、これでもう私はユージの彼女？
Yes, you are.
そっか。
I gave her a firm, decisive answer, but Imane's reaction seems fairly subdued. Not spontaneous outbursts of joy, at least. Well, I guess a romantic relationship with this many strings attached is pretty unusual. Not really surprising that she might have mixed feelings about it.
ごめん。ちょっと座ってもいい？
Huh? Why? Before she can answer my question, Amani sinks unsteadily to the floor, landing in a sitting position with a light thump. What's wrong, Amani?
ごめん、なんか急に力が抜けちゃって膝がガクガクしてるの。
You feeling alright?
なんだろう、急にキスされたのにも驚いたし、ユージの彼女になれたってのも嬉しくて、でもなんか実感があまり湧かなくて。
Definitely went from 0 to 100 quite quickly, Amani. I could understand that.
さっきからなんか足元がふわふわしてるなって思ってたんだけど、ダメだ、腰が抜けたっぽい。立てないよ。
Oh, sorry. You're hopeless. She puts up a consistently strong front, but when push comes to shove, it seems Amani's a pretty timid woman. Already thrown off balance by her first kiss, the impact of becoming my girlfriend seems to have been sufficient to rob her of motor control. If you can't stand on your own, I'll give you a hand. What's that bizarre sound you're emitting? Are you laughing?
笑ってる。そっか、私ユージの彼女だ。
What? Now the idea scares you? A little late for that.
そうじゃないけど、宝くじで一等賞が当たったみたいな感じ。なんかまだ信じられない。ねえ、本当に彼女でいいんだよね。
You sure Yuji's not the one that won the lottery, Amane? I think there's a lot more negatives for you, like I said. Yeah, I meant what I said. Nauseating.
あんたね、彼女に向かって気持ち悪いとか言わないの。
Just stand up already, will you? Here, give me your hand.
立ち上がらせてどうする気？今なら私、力が抜けてるから何も抵抗できないよ。
What's your point?
だから襲うなら今だよってこと。ぶっちゃけて言うと、今なら抱いても OK だよってサインを送ってるのよ。
The hell? Amani's trying to put up a strong front with the usual slut act, but it's decidedly unconvincing with her hands trembling in mine like a chihuahua with anxiety issues. What's with the immediate leap into the deep end? Please don't tell me I'll just let him pound away at my pussy until he's addicted to me was the only thing you could come up with for the next step.
きっとすっごく気持ちいいぞ。どうする？しちゃう？
Says the girl who's shaking like a leaf in the breeze. Don't get carried away, idiot. With the free hand, I deliver a sharp karate chop to the top of Amani's head.
ちょっと。
Look, I'm not going to vanish like smoke tomorrow. Probably not the day after either. Don't rush things.
なんか不安なのよね。あんたの場合、本当にふっと私の前からいなくなりそうでさ。
You're worrying too much. Just get some sleep for the moment, alright? I'll take you to your room.
おんぶしてくれる？
Yeah, I think I can handle that. I lift Amani's completely limp body onto my back, carry her up the stairs, and escort her back to her room. This would be the second time I've trotted Amani around like this, but her body feels lighter than before. Probably because I'm more ready to carry her, and she's more comfortable with being carried by me. Because the distance we kept between us has shrunk. She's got a big body, but she's definitely a burden I can bear. And so, as of today, Amani became my girlfriend. When it comes to women, the ideal is small, soft, cute, and smart enough to pretend they're stupid. But by some cruel twist of fate, the women in my life have universally been on the large, brash, and hard-headed side of things. Less cute, more brute. At one point, back when I was really and truly surrounded by these creatures, I was half convinced my entire life had been cursed by some misdeed against an oversized woman in a previous incarnation. More than anything else, big women are just hard to deal with. They're glutinous, coarse, obstinate, and selfish. They pick fights and smoke cigarettes. On top of it all, They're crybabies, jealous, wear too much makeup, and blame the nearest man for everything and everything. Anything and everything. You're being a bit judgmental there, Yuji. I don't think that applies only to big women, as you call it. Given all these charming characteristics, you could hardly blame a guy for wanting to pull an abrupt about-face whenever a big woman comes into view. Of late, however, my doctrine on oversized females has experienced something of a softening. I'm beginning to think they aren't all bad in their way. I've met one in particular who's an excellent cook, highly attentive to the needs of others, doesn't get angry when I speak to other women, and accepts every request I make eagerly. Honestly, she's too convenient. The whole thing gives me an unpleasant feeling in the pit of my stomach at times. But then again, that's just the sort of person I am. The sweeter the deal, the more uneasy I become. I think that's actually how you should approach life. Personally, that's a motto of mine. The sweeter the deal, usually it's basically a scam. That's what I truly believe. As a result, recently, I've been racking my brains over one question in particular. Why did a high-quality woman like that become the girlfriend of a worthless man like me?
ユージおかえり。
Moborlin? Sounds like an abbreviation for Mobile Orlikon. Did someone develop a portable 20mm autocannon deployable by infantry?
ああ、マキナ。あんたまたつまみ食いしたね。朝ごはんはユージが戻ってからって言ったでしょ。
ケチ的本来。減るもんじゃあるまいし。
減るわボケ。こんこの誰に似たんか道の汚い。
私はそういう風にしか生きられない女なのよ。
開き直らないの。
Not that I really mind, but why are you people in my room first thing in the morning?
ああ、だってほら、私ユージの彼女になったわけだし、朝ごはんぐらい作ってあげた方がいいのかなって。
That's not really...
言っておくけど、全然面倒じゃないよ。マキナのご飯作るついでみたいなもんだし。
I see.
ほらほら、走ってきて汗かいたでしょ。さっさとシャワー浴びてきなよ。浴び終わる頃には朝食の用意できてるから。
Yeah, alright.
何よ、変な笑い方して。
こいつはあれですかい？早速彼女気取りですかい？見ているこっちが恥ずかしくなるのよさ。
別に今までだってこれぐらいのことはしてたし、変じゃないわよ。
その割には必死なのよ。お兄ちゃんがなんか言おうとしてたのに邪魔してさ。
それはだってほらユージだよ。なんかあいつ私が好きでやってることでも面倒ならやらんでいいとか言い出しそうだし。
まあな、お兄ちゃんってば変に禁欲的というか甘やかされるのに慣れてない感じするのよね。
でしょ。だからせっかく彼女になったんだし、なんかしてあげたいのにノーサンキューだとか言われちゃったらがっくりくるでしょ。
まあその辺は大丈夫なんじゃね。お兄ちゃん禁欲的なくせに女を扱うの無駄にうまいし、あまねえは親切の押し売りでしか愛情表現ができない重たい女だって気づけばきっとうまく対応してくれると思うのよ。どうした？
あのさ、私って重い？
体重的な意味で？
そうじゃなくて。
まあそうな。私はほらダメな子だからアマネがいないと生きていけないけど、お兄ちゃんはどっちかっつうと一 人で生きていけるタイプじゃない？だからやりすぎればうぜーって思うんじゃないかな。
そっか、気をつけないと。
Can't believe you're getting the advice from Makina, Manu.
まあそうしょんぼりすんなよ。こないだ読んだ本にこんなこと書いてあったのよ。
But yeah, Makina is super self-aware, man. I guess I do like Makina to some degree. I was definitely being super harsh on her on the common route. I guess, you know, like the banter and all that, it's really just to show their quirkiness.
休みのたびに会おうとするな。メールの返事が遅いぐらいでキレるな。怒ってる時は黙ってないで怒ってる理由を話し合え。そしてこれが一番大事。彼氏の携帯を勝手に見るな。
Sorry, that's the number one most important rule to break. I'm sorry, man, but I feel like when you're in a relationship with someone, it's just par for the course that you would want them to know you for who you are. If you start like hiding something from your significant other, at that point, I don't think the relationship is going to work at all. I guess I just have a personal belief on this. But if you can't be honest with your significant other, can you really be honest with anyone else? You know? That's dumb. That is legit dumb, Makina.
いろいろあるな。っていうか、あんたそういうのどこで
Man, I
覚
really
え
hope
てくる
people
わけ？
don't believe these stupid magazines, dude.
何言ってんのよさ。これ全部あまねが買ってきた本に書いてあったのよ。肉食系女子必見のティーンズファッション誌タイガーガール8月号の144ページ。脱ベビーガール彼氏に重いって言われたらって特集覚えてない？
Well, this is probably for people that are younger, right? That's why it's a teen magazine. I guess people when they're younger, they don't really want a serious relationship, they just want a casual fling. But I don't know, maybe I'm just a serious person by nature. Even back when I was younger, I was actually fully committed to marrying my girlfriend if it were the case. But maybe to some people that might also be a heavy burden, right? Like, you know, dating as a sign of you giving the okay to marriage. That is very heavy.
そういえばそんな記事もあったような。
ああ平気平気。だって私重くないしとか言って適当に流し読みしたのね。フグじゃねえのよ。でもまあシャワー浴びに行ったお兄ちゃんを追っかけてって背中流してあげようとか言い出さなかっただけ。まだ救いようはあるのよさ。
危なかった。私それ言おうか迷ってた。言わなくてよかった。
パイオツこすりつけて背中洗う気だったのね。もうどんだけビッチなのよさ。
いや、さすがにそこまでは。
いいですか？ビッチも度が過ぎればただの変態なのよ。分かったらさっさと朝ごはんの用意をしなさい。というわけで私はちょっとやぼよを思い出したのでこれで。
ちょっと野暮用ってどこ行くのよ。
しょ
なんで服を脱ぐ？
She's probably gonna have a naked sprite, I think, and you guys probably will not see this.
お兄ちゃん
But we'll see.
私が背中流してあげよう。
こらー！
Okay, no. Okay, you guys are fine. There are some people out there who find joy in serving others, making them happy, and being necessary to them. I consider them masochists. There's no guarantee that such devotion will ever be rewarded. In fact, I think it's safe to say the opposite is more often true. Case in point, no matter how many people we might kill in the national interest, no one's going to gratefully reward pieces of trash like us for our service. That's really only natural. Maintaining such fruitless devotion for its own sake doesn't make any sense. There's got to be some other motive underneath it all. Or so I instinctively suspect. No matter how much I want to believe Suo Amane's actions are motivated purely by her emotions, this small, nauseating sense of unease just won't disappear. But of course, I'm a twisted person with all the capacity for trust of a mangy stray dog. Accepting the kindness of others never comes easy to me.
さて、朝ごはんもバリバリ食べたし、今日も頑張ってもりもり勉強するのよ。
ねえ、それってバリバリとモリモリ、擬音が逆じゃないかな。
Well, her incomprehensible enthusiasm gets across, if nothing else.
お兄ちゃん、なんか疲れてる？
そりゃ朝っぱらからあれだけバタバタされたら疲れるでしょうよ。
ごめんね、お兄ちゃん。あまねえがバタバタして。
いや、私じゃなくてあんただからね。不思議そうな顔をして私を見ない。っていうかあんた、私が止めなかったら本気でユージの背中流すつもりだったの？
そりゃあもう朝からこってりと濃厚に背中を流してやろうかと愚行いたしますれば。
どうしよう。こんなに堂々と開き直る子を相手にどうやって怒ればいいんだろう。
あのね、お兄ちゃん、今日は残念だったけど、今度また二人きりの時にね。
Don't get me involved in this troublesome nonsense.
コンドームは私が用意するからちっとも面倒じゃないのよ。
You're crazy, Machina.
おーい、彼女の前だぞ。冗談でもそういうこと言っちゃダメなんだぞ。
Not to worry, I'm not about to get excited by the likes of Machina.
それはやっぱりあれ？おっぱいのさ。
That's right. If you want to become my woman, get yourself a serious rack.
この男、随分と無茶を言うのよ。
Don't worry, Machina. In an alternate universe, your very small breasts are actually super comforting. This is the only way of life I know. Deal with it.
もう、それを言われると何も言えないのよさ。
Give up on becoming my woman and try to be sportsmanlike about it, will you? In exchange, I'll be your big brother as long as you want.
ずっと？
Well, as long as I manage to stay alive, I guess.
そっか。そんじゃ、それでいいや。約束なのよ。
Hold on a second. I feel like I might have rushed into this. Let me think it over.
あ、ヘリだ。アパッチか、ロングボウなのか、AH64D なのか。
Hey, Machina!
逃げられちゃったね。
What a hopeless girl. That's clearly a civilian helicopter. How do you mistake an EC-155B for an AH-64D?
それよりもいいの？あんな約束しちゃって。
I am not very familiar with helicopters. Well, I suppose. Try not to begrudge Machina the little sister role. I think she's always going to have a hard time functioning unless there's someone looking out for her.
まあね。
Let's hurry to the classroom ourselves.
あ、ユージ、待って。
Hmm?
ほら、ネクタイ曲がってる。
Hmm? Really? Sure you don't want to just do this for the newlywed thing, Amane?
ほら、こっち向きなさい。直してあげ
Oh,
る。
sorry. Right. Thanks.
普段パリッとしてるくせに、たまに隙があるのよね、あんたって。
Yeah, I get that a lot. JB once offered me a similar evaluation. You're insufficiently thorough. That sloppiness is why you always manage to bungle things in the endgame. But my master responded, that's the one and only part of this kid you could call cute. She actually encouraged me to make certain types of sloppy mistakes as a way to attract the tender exasperation of females. Not to say that I'm doing any of this on purpose, but in retrospect, it seems there might have been something to that suggestion. Even as she fixes my necktie with a few vaguely maternal complaints, the expression on Amane's face suggests she's enjoying herself.
はい、治ったよ。
Right. Thanks.
ねえ、ユージ。
What?
私って重いのかな。
In terms of body mass?
マキナと同じボケはしないでよ。
My humor is on the same level as Makina's. That's a bit of a shock.
っていうか、最近のマキナ、だんだんあんたに似てきたわよ。
Children change themselves in reaction to the adults around them. It's only natural.
忘れてるかもしれないから言っとくけど、マキナ、あんたと年あんまり変わんないわよ。
Hey, being children is not about the age of them, Amane. It's all about the mental thing. I'm aware of that. I'm also aware that you're only 2 years older than me, despite the wise big sister act.
誰に聞いたの？
The principal.
そっか。
What? Did you want to keep it a secret?
そうじゃないけど。
Then there's nothing to worry about. I don't care too much about age either way. Also, if I thought you were heavy, I'd tell you straight out. You're fine the way you are. Don't try to change yourself to fit me.
そうする。
Alright then, let's head to class. Wanna hold hands on the way?
え、本当に？
No, just screwing with you.
なんだ、チェー。
Don't boo me, come on. I offer my left hand to Amane.
いいの？本当に？
Just until we get to the classroom.
嬉しい。
Am I getting soft? The thought did occur to me, but if you think of it as compensation for Amane's reliable daily service, a little charity like this is entirely justifiable. Like a dog leaping toward the leash its master is carrying, Amane jumps to grab my hand, firmly intertwining her fingers with mine. As always, her palm is unusually cold to the touch, but compared to a hot, sweaty hand, this one is an unpleasant hold. Alright, I think we have time for one more scene before we end the episode. I think today I'm just going to be recording one episode because after this, I am actually going to be playing Project Diva on PC. If you guys don't know, I very much love Vocaloid. And the PC version is actually being modded right now by a good friend of mine, Hiso. He made a team for Project Diva to mod it. This is a pretty old story that my master heard from her own master. It's about a man who, having finished a big job in Southeast Asia, bought himself a woman. The man in question had been celebrating the successful completion of his task with a long bout of celebratory drinking. Eventually, the liquor went to his head. He loudly announced, "I'm going to buy a woman," to everyone in the bar. Then staggered out into the night city, jumped into a taxi, and asked the driver to keep going till he hit a place where I can buy a girl. The driver conducted him to a small house in shoddy condition. The man was starting to have some second thoughts, but he allowed himself to be ushered inside. And after picking out a girl with long hair from a number of women lined up against the wall, he took her to a hotel and spent a night with her. The man felt like the fee they demanded might have been unreasonably high, but he was plastered at the time, and the money from his job was burning a hole in his pocket. He rationalized it as a worthy price for a night of sweet dreams. When the man woke up the next morning, the girl was gone. Oh shit, did she take me for a ride? But when he checked the pockets of his jacket in a panic, his wallet was still there, and nothing seemed to be missing from the inside. Sheesh. Getting a little paranoid. Anyway, there sure were some pleasant dreams, but just as the man was wrapping the matter up, the girl he had slept with returned to the room, bearing breakfast on a tray. What, you haven't gone home yet? In response to the man's question, the girl tilted her head in puzzlement. I don't know the location of your home yet, husband. The oddly expensive price hadn't bought the man a single night of pleasure. It had bought him the girl.
つまりどういうことなのよさ？
I mean, it's not commonplace nowadays. It still happens in Southeast Asia because we're a much more poorer country compared to first world countries. But some people actually do sell their kids like that, you know? Like, you know, if the parents like can't even feed their kids, or like can't, basically if they can't secure a good future for the children, they wouldn't mind actually selling the girl to people that are rich, basically. That's how the process works. It doesn't happen as often now, but it definitely still happens behind closed doors. It's just not being broadcasted on the news as much. It was very rampant like maybe 15 years to 20 years ago. The man paid his money with the intention of spending a single night with the girl, but he had inadvertently purchased her entire life.
南アジアの一部地域では日本の大卒初任給が国民の平均年収に匹敵すると言われていますし、ありえない話ではありませんが。
Yeah, that is sadly the very truth, Sachi.
でもその話とアマネーの話にどんな関係が？
Well, it isn't quite over yet. The man went back to the little house in an attempt to return the girl to her family, but her father flatly refused to take her back, said the deal was already done. Sounds heartless, but in that region, dowry costs could be a huge burden if a family had many daughters. Selling them off to foreigners made a lot of sense economically. In the end, the man had no choice but to take the girl back to his own country. See? You guys see where the problem lies in this whole story? It's not that the man was buying the girl, and it's not the girl selling herself. It's not even the dad selling the girl. The root of the problem is that a lot of the older generations here in Southeast Asia have this stupid belief that if you have lots of kids, that means you're gonna get lots of riches, which is just plain ridiculously dumb. If you have lots of kids, you're gonna have lots of expense. That is just the truth, man. I hate people who think that way. I hate them. I legit hate them. He was pretty shell-shocked. Felt like he'd stumbled into a total catastrophe at first. But once he brought the girl back to his hometown, his opinion changed dramatically. You see, she happened to be a hell of a hard worker. Maybe that's just how they raised them over there, but the fear that he'd decide she was useless and abandon her probably had a lot to do with it as well. Either way, she waited on the man hand and foot. And apparently, the girl had been strictly trained in housework from a very young age. She took on all the cleaning, washing, and cooking, and handled them all quite skillfully. When a man took a bath, she'd wash his back. When he went to work, she'd help him into his business suit, then send him off by kneeling in the entranceway with her forehead pressed to the floor. The girl not only readily accepted all of this as a role, but would actually start weeping if the man tried to keep her from performing her duties. At first, he was at something of a loss. But in time, the man decided to accept this dependent new lifestyle. His reasoning was simple. Apparently, being necessary to him in even the smallest ways was very important to his wife. It certainly felt pompous to allow the girl to attend slavishly to his every need, but if that would reassure her that her place in the world was secure, he decided it was the right thing to do. For me personally, the right thing to do would be to educate her that you don't have to do all this shit. Slowly. Well, you can allow her to do what she is doing right now, but slowly try to make her understand that you don't need to do that. If the story ended by the guy trying to do that to the girl, then I think that's actually a very good story. But if the story ended just with him allowing the girl to do what she pleases, I think it's not a very good story. And in the end, they stayed married for more than 40 years. At the man's deathbed, the girl was by his side. These were apparently her final words to him. I was terrified and miserable at first. The realization that I'd been bought by some strange foreigner brought me to tears many times. But even so, in the end, I'm glad. From the bottom of my heart, I'm glad you bought me. Understandable. Maybe you see what I'm getting at here, but for me, I think Suo Amane might be something like that girl. So for now, I think I'm going to try letting Amane do what she wants, just like the man in the story.
それが今朝あまねさんと手をつないで教室へ入ってきたことに対する言い訳なのですね。
Come on, no need to put it so bluntly, is there? Not that you're wrong.
つまり私と同じようにアマネーに寄生して生きていくってこと？
Did you even listen to what I was saying?
だって長え話されてもわかんねえのよ。報告はもっと簡潔に。
Damn you and your short attention span, Machina. And now she's talking like JB? Cheeky brat.
マキちゃん、男の人の言い訳っていうのは長くて支離滅裂なものなんだよ。
I mean, I guess that's true. Not just men, damn you, Sachi. I hate when people only say this men and women bullshit. It applies to both, damn you. I guess 2011 was a different age though. And you're not much better. Don't kick me in the gut with that knowing smile on your face. Ugh. Anyway, I still find Amane's kindness pretty odd, but I guess I've decided to stop fighting it. I think that's the best way to repay her goodwill, as long as I can remember to be grateful. That's all I'm trying to say.
おお、そうか。
You still don't get it, do you?
私は理解しました。良い心がけかと思います。お話を聞いていて我が意を得たりと膝を打つ思いで涙が出そうです。主人に必要とされることを至上の喜びとし、そして主人がそれを理解している。まさにメイド冥利につきます。きっと日々の努力が報われた思いに感動し、うかつに頭など撫でられようものなら、それはもうジョンジョロジョンジョロと失禁してしまうかもしれません。
I think you're being crazy, Sachi.
ああ、なんか散歩行くよって言っただけで嬉しくておしっぽ漏らしちゃう子犬とか。
What the fuck is wrong with these people? I don't think I like the sound of this.
大丈夫なのよさ。アマネーはよくしつけられた大型犬なのよ。おしっこ漏らさないし、無駄吠えもしないし、主人の帰りをじっと待ってるような感じ。
ああ、それなんだかわかるような気がする。井上さんちのラッキーがそんな感じだよね。
Lucky?
お兄ちゃんは見たことない？夕方にスーパーの省エに行くとたまにお店の入り口の横にいるのよ。でっかくて茶色いもさっとしたやつ。
Did her voice suddenly get louder for some reason? I feel like she got louder there. Oh, I think I might know the one you're talking about. The Borzoi that's always gnawing on a chewed up plastic back scratcher?
ラッキーはとても頭がいいんですよ。ご主人様がお買い物をしている間はじっとおとなしく地面に伏せて、気だるそうに耳もだらーっとしていて、他の犬が来ても吠えません。
近所の子供がいたずらして耳とか尻尾を引っ張ってもうざがるだけで怒らないし、すっげえ優しい子なのよ。
で、ご主人様が買い物を終えてお店から出てくる気配を感じると、すっくと体を起こしてピシッとお座りの姿勢で、自分はずっとこの姿勢で待っていたでありますって顔をするんです。それがもう
Sorry.
可愛くて。
I see. Now that you mention it, that does sound a bit like Amane.
私がなんだって？
Oh, hey there, Amane. We were just noting your resemblance to a dog.
犬？私が？
アマネーって賞味期限が微妙な食べ物とかすぐふんふん言って匂いとか確かめるしね。
ああ、そういえばそんな仕草をよく見かけますね。
嘘？私そんなことする？
してるのよさ。こないだもお豆腐のお味噌汁の鍋に顔突っ込んでふんふんしてたのよ。
だってこの季節はほらお豆腐炒むの早いし、あんまり変なもの食べさせてお腹壊したら大変だしねえ。
True enough. Spoiled tofu sounds disgusting.
あまねさんって八百屋さんでも魚屋さんでもとりあえず商品は匂いを嗅いで確かめますよね。
だって しでも新鮮な方がいいかと思って。
Can you seriously tell how fresh produce is by sniffing it?
いや、まあなんていうか。
For fish, I guess you can actually.
ほら、私って実家の料理屋で買い出しをやってたから、それでシビアになったってのが原因かな。
I see.
サチいる？
はい、ここに。
あ、いたいた。ねえサチ、私お腹空いちゃった。お昼にして。
はい、すぐにご用意いたします。
今日はお弁当用意したんでしょ？私の嫌いなピーマンとかセロリとか入れてないでしょうね。
はい、もちろん一切使用していません。どうせみちる様は味音痴だからわかんねえだろとか言って細かく刻んでたっぷり混ぜたりするような真似は断じてしておりませんよ。
You're a sadist, Sachi.
ちょっと、それ本当でしょうね。
当たりきしゃりきのコンコンチキです。私がみちる様を騙すなんてありえません。もっと私を信用してください。
なんか最近のあんたって私に対する扱いが雑になったような気がするのよね。
気のせいウッドエレメンタルですよ。
何それ？
ウッドエレメンタル？木のせい？
くだらね
Wordplay, I'm assuming. Japan and their wordplay. I don't know, man. I feel like I guess I'm not much of a literature person. I don't even like get wordplay in English, you know. Maybe it's because I'm not a native English speaker too. But then again, even in my own native language, I don't really care much about wordplay. Wait a second, Michiru, you've been having Sachi make box lunches for you?
何よ、文句あんの？っていうか、サチが自分から作るって言い出したのよ。
はい、みちる様が毎日仕出しのお弁当では飽きるとおっしゃっていましたので、僭越ながら。
なんだ、言ってくれれば私がみちるの分も作ったのに。
嫌よ、だってあんたのお弁当野菜ばっかりじゃない。私はお肉が食べたいの。I need meat。
なんで最後英語で言ったんですか？
どうでもいいでしょが。
Michiru, I really hope you're showing Sachi appropriate gratitude for this.
私はいつだって感謝と遠慮を忘れない謙虚な女よ。でもほら、私ツンデレだから表面的にはそれが見えないだけなのよ。
I see. Is that just how tsunderes are as a species?
どうこすとうぜえだけだけどな。そんでチルチルは確実にどうこしてるのよさ。そんなことないわよ。ないでしょ。ないわよね。
何その微妙に自信を失いゆく三段変化。
流行らすか？
Do me a favor and don't. I'm getting a headache already. Actually, Yuji, I'm also getting a headache. I'm not joking.
とにかくお昼にしましょう。
The conversation definitely goes places with these people.
そうね。アホにかまけてるとお昼休みが終わっちゃうわ。サチ、食堂に行ってわかめスープ飲みながら食べるわよ。空いてらっしゃい。
はい、ただいまお供いたします。そんなわけですので、私たちは学食へ参りますが、皆さんは？
私らは教室で食べるよ。何？
私は少しあまねさんが羨ましいです。そんな風に思ってしまうのはわがままでしょうか。
何？どういう意味？
まあな、チルチルは飼い犬に餌をやらないタイプなのよさ。
犬？また犬の話？
それでは失礼いたします。
何なの？
Don't worry about it. More importantly, I've gained a keen understanding of what gratitude means thanks to Michiru's negative example. Amane, thank you for everything you do.
どういたしまして？
よくわかってねえだろ。
You don't need to get it. Even gratitude can be annoying if you shove it in someone's face. Much like any other form of charity, giving back to others is meaningless if you are motivated primarily by the desire to show off your own nobility. When I see a politician on television proudly wearing brightly colored flags and ribbons on his lapel, my first and only thought is, look at that swaggering hypocrite. I guess you could say I'm cynical by nature, but I don't want to show my gratitude to Imani that way. Not through some self-satisfied display. I want to keep those feelings mostly to myself. The better to preserve them and keep them genuine. If the world calls this less effusive approach the mark of a tsundere, then I guess I'm a tsundere after all. I'll bear that mark of disgrace with pride. And I'll set an example by my way of life. One that will dispel the foul reputation of a few regrettable individuals have brought upon our misunderstood tribe. And yes, you are a tsundere, Yuji. The creator made you that way.
少しいいかしら。
And with that, we are going to end the episode right here.
セーブしますか？
I don't think this is a cliffhanger by any means because we just finished an event or a scene, as you would call it. But hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I think most of these episodes are actually going to be edited, or not edited, but you know, they're gonna be put on Vegas Pro, and I will edit the sound anyway, because the volume mixing I feel on my videos are kinda off, and I feel like I need to fix that by adding in more decibels in that video software. But yeah, they're gonna take much longer to process and all that because you know, rendering the video and all that. But I mean, now that I don't have a job, I can basically record almost every day, so it's not too much of an issue for me. But as I was saying, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Like if you like it, and subscribe. Damn, I'm gonna be a pro at that at some point. But how much I'm actually saying that. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.